Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I can see you're overwhelmed and energized after your meal. Once again, good afternoon. What we're going to do now is spice things up slightly. We're about to do the Podim Challenge 2015. But before we do that, I'd like to welcome onto the stage Mr. Zdravko Počivalšek, who is the Minister of Economic Development and Technology. And he's going to say a few words about the situation here in terms of startups here in Slovenia.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear entrepreneurs, innovators, it is my great pleasure and honor to greet you here on the 35th conference Podim Challenge, which represents the almost opportunity for the startups to present their ideas to the top investors. We all, the entity, we can say that knowledge of entrepreneurship and innovation are the key drivers of the economic development. Now, innovative companies with high growth potential bring more innovation, greater competitiveness, more jobs, and higher added value. Startup companies have the greatest potential of creating new values, but their performance in the first years of associated with an increased risk. Thus, for greater success, they need the right funding source. For this reason, we wish to improve the access to favorable finance resources with the appropriate measures under the new financial perspective in the Ministry of Economic Development and Technology. Apart from direct financial incentives in the form of grants and seed capital, the startups will also receive the support in the form of mentoring, training at home and abroad, and have available space to work. The emphasis is put on smart money. Dear startups, I strongly believe that the innovators, positive energy, new skills, and tips from startups, mentors will contribute to realization of your projects. Take the advantage of your potential, be persistent, and let your dreams come true. In the end, I would like to offer my sincere congratulations to the organizers of the meeting, and I wish all the participants of the conference a successful networking and successful work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zdravko Počivalšek. So, the Podim Challenge. Can I ask, how many startups are there here in the audience? Can you just put your hands up? Okay. Right. So the Podim Challenge is basically all about presenting your big idea. I'm sure every single person in this room at some stage has had a big idea, or you might have a big idea right now. However, what you don't have is the opportunity to stand on this stage and showcase what you have, showcase your big idea to a group of entrepreneurs, successful business people, and people who know what they're talking about. I'm pretty sure the people here on stage, you've seen quite a lot of pitches, haven't you? I'm sure you have. We'll see. If you've seen about 100 pitches or more, just raise your hand. Just let me see. All of you. Okay, 200 or more. Okay, they've still got 300 pitches or more. 4, 5, 6, 600 pitches. You've seen 600 at least, right? So basically they know. A round of applause. 600 pitches. If there was an award for pitch award, you would get it. Right. So once again, let me just introduce myself. My name is Peter. Apparently there are 3 Peters at Podim presenting. I am one of them. I'm the one from London, and we're about to start the Podim Challenge 2015. Before we do, let me just explain what's at stake. So basically what will happen is when the startups come on stage, they will have 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes. Remember, they don't have to use that whole 5 minutes if they don't want to. So up to 5 minutes on stage. After their pitch, entrepreneurs, successful business people, mentors here, they will ask questions regarding their pitch. Again, up to 5 minutes. After that's done, here on stage, we will see what people think. They will hold up either a green card. Can you just hold up a green card? A green card, when the green card goes up, that simply means, yes, I'm interested. It doesn't mean I'm ready to give out my money. It means I'm interested. It means I'm ready to have a conversation, meet them one-to-one afterwards, and get to know the startup a little bit better and move forward, perhaps. However, if one of the cards which are red, they go up, just like these here, this doesn't mean get off the stage. It simply means, no, that's not for me, okay? At the end of the pitching battle, we will count up all the green cards, and the startup who's got the most will be the winner, okay? And that winner actually will win an opportunity to go with Initiative Startup Slovenia to the Pioneers Festival. They also have a voucher from, was that a clap? Was that a clap? I think it was a clap. Was a clap. It's who is actually here going to Pioneers? Hands up. Well, there you go, not many. So the winners, they actually go. Also, a voucher from 99 Designs and an award from Pošta Slovenia and fantastic media promotion from Podim itself to the value of 250 euros. But that's not all. There's also another two prizes from 2 different companies, 2 partners here with Podim, and they will decide who actually wins. So there's a voucher up to the amount of 5,000 euros from Design Forward Accelerator. Put your hands together for Design Forward Accelerator. 5,000 euros. I'm sure we'd all love to win 5,000 euros, wouldn't we? Wouldn't you? Okay, it's a quiet crowd at the moment, which is absolutely fine. But hopefully together, over the next 100 minutes or so, we'll have a little bit of fun, and also we can get everybody warmed up a bit as well. Secondly, a voucher for 3,000 euros. 3,000 euros from Deloitte Slovenia, providing business services, financial services, and legal advisory services as well. Right. Wouldn't it be great if we all knew the secret formula to persuading an investor, to persuading a VC to come on board with our startup, wouldn't it? It would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Well, we're not going to do that today at all. However, what we will do is actually get some insights from our VCs, insights from people who've been there, who've done it, who are doing it right now. And they will be able to give out their advice and information regarding their background as well. So what we'll do for the next 45, 50 minutes or so is a kind of question and answer session with our entrepreneurs, with our business mentors as well, which I'd like also for you to get involved with as well. So I'll be asking a few questions. If you have a question, please put your hand up and somebody will come around with a microphone and you can answer a question. You can ask a question as well. Just because you're not on stage, it doesn't mean you can still ask a question. Okay? Right. So first of all, this is a question for Ari Kononen from a business angel from Finland. Should be on. Just check if it's on. Say something.
Hello. Working.
I think it's on.
It's on. It's on.
It's on. Right. Okay. So again, a question for each of you, but please, if you have something to contribute or if you want to share some of your own personal insights with somebody else's question, please do so. Okay. So, Ari, 10 years you've been investing in more than 20 companies. And again, you've seen, as we've heard, you've seen more than 600 pitches. So you know exactly what you're doing. So if there was such a thing as a secret formula, what would it be? What a question. What would it be?
Okay, I think it's the team is the most important. When we angels, we invest to the startups, we look the team the most. This is investing to the people. It's maybe no secret source, but different criteria, and the number one criteria is the team. So team must be having a complementing competencies and must have a good track record. If not as an entrepreneur, maybe then in other career. They must be that kind of team which can create a growth company, because angels invest only to the growth companies, and so there must be a business plan is not so important, because that can be pivoted, changed anyhow later on. So better to have an A-class team and B-class business plan than vice versa.
Okay, right. Is anybody else like to contribute, like to say something?
Yeah, just to add to that, because I totally agree, the team is extremely important. But Mark Andreessen, who probably a lot are familiar with, Andreessen Horowitz Ventures, he had a great comment a couple of years ago. He's one of the bold people to actually say this. He said he would rather invest in a mediocre team in a great market than a great team in a mediocre market. So I think that would go along with the great team. A company that's building a product or a service that's addressing a really interesting market or in an interesting way, that would be the other key thing that I think is important to look for.
Great. Okay. Anybody else who'd like to? Okay.
You ask for the secret formula, right?
If there
is the invisible multiple. The team is a condition. If the team is bad, the angel will not invest. But the formula, the secret formula, is how many times I multiply my investment back. I am a wild angel.
I fully agree, because all investors, we are in a business of exits. We are not in a business of investing, because when we invest, money goes out. But when the exit comes, then money comes in. So we are in a business of exit, and we're looking for multiples. We want to multiply our money sort of 5 times, 10 times money back is good exit for the angel.
Great. One last question for you, Ari. You're also the co-founder of the Finnish Business Angels Network in Finland. Can you perhaps just share with us a little bit about the Finnish startup scene for those of us that are not aware of it?
Yeah, we created FIBAN, Finnish Business Angel Network, 4 years ago. Now we have a bit less than 500 members. So it's very big network, and we have a very, very booming startup scene in Finland. There's very many reasons. Gaming companies, for example, Rovio, Supercell, they have given a really good role model to the other entrepreneurs that you can really make it. Even we say that unicorns, they grow everywhere. So big success can come from Slovenia or Finland or whatever smaller country. So we are very active. Also thanks to Nokia, because Nokia sacked so many people out. So there's a lot of good engineers in the market, and also those former Nokia people, they established 400 startups already to Finland. So Nokia has been very important in last 10 years ago. It was a success story, and it still is, by the way. But also when it collapsed in a mobile phone, it was good for our ecosystem.
Thank you. Okay, so next question for Michael Gross from VC in Germany. So you've helped actually quite a lot of different states in Germany regarding startups and tech centers. Can you perhaps share with us some of the main problems or main hurdles or barriers that you've come across during your time?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm one of the background singers. Hope you can see me a little bit. Okay.
Stand up.
First,
Stand if you wish. It's
okay.
fine.
First, I want to say that I want to congratulate you for that very interesting conference. It's not only the biggest in the Alpe area region. I believe it's one of the most important conferences, startup conferences now in Europe. And I have a little bit an overview about the last 20 years as I worked for the venture capital industry. What is important? We have to create every day, every week, every month, and every year new startup companies, because these companies will be the companies that are financing our future. It means we need a framework, not only in Slovenia, also in other countries of Europe, that we can give these type of companies. It's a new generation of enterprises that they can find a framework not only in the field of technology centers, that's very important, in the field of accelerators, that's very important, that you have here also in Slovenia. And it's a very high quality that you have reached in your country. You need, that's my opinion, you have to be a cornerstone investor here also in Slovenia. Because if you have an own fund in your country, and that's my experience over about other countries and Europe, not only in Europe, you have your own financial source to give these new companies a better financial base. And I believe that's very important, and we can give some support in that field to decide, and that's a decision of the minister, and we, the German ambassador is here in the room, and we can support as Germany also that on that way. I believe that's very important. Otherwise, it can be that some of these startups go in other parts of Europe, and that can be not a real idea. So, very important is also that you can reach a broad focus not only on IT and ICT. You have to bring investments and support also in startups in other branches. And here is very important that we need that they get in contact to the old economy and to the new economy, because these startups are the new economy. So, and when we think about Industry 4.0, it means new companies, the digital world meets the old economy. Then is it also very important that we have not only the focus on IT and ICT, that's also a little bubble in Berlin, for example. Yeah? It means that we must bring more investments, also in proof and measurement, automotive-orientated automatization technologies, and so on. That's very important for me.
Okay. So, moving on to another question now. This one is for Jonathan Cooper. Okay, Jonathan Cooper from Vision Investment Services. So, regarding practical advice for any any startup, any budding startup, what would you say is the best way for them to reach out to an investor to grab their attention? Is it conferences like this? Is it startup pitches? Is it simply social media? Is it email? Jonathan Cooper.
Oof. I would say it's probably a combination of most of those things. One thing advice I always give to startup company entrepreneurs is to get to know the money. So when you come to a conference like this, you're sitting in the audience, even if you're not raising money, afterwards we're all going to be lined up here saying hi to people. Come say hi to us, tell us who you are, give us your card. It'll click in our head, so when you do come to us looking for money in 6 months, you can say, hey, we met at Podim, we had a chat, I'd like to follow up with you now. If you're trying to raise money now, obviously the same thing applies. But I would also encourage startups to look at the accelerator programs, the various startup programs that are available from the EU, of course. One of the reasons I've been invited to come is I'm based in the Middle East. I'm based in Oman and in Dubai. And I wanted to plug for 2 minutes that region for startups. There's a big movement in Middle East now, in Dubai, in Qatar, for example, to have a world-class startup environment. And they're doing it the way they always do it in the Middle East. They're throwing tons of money at it. And most of those startups are going to be international companies. There are very few local Arab startup companies that qualify. So I'm actually working with a Turn 8 accelerator out of Dubai. They've already accepted companies from Serbia and Romania and Italy. If you're interested in looking into that region for funding, come and see me. I'm the guy with the funny jacket. I'll be happy to tell you more about those opportunities. But going back to the question and the things that you mentioned, definitely conferences like this, social media, networking and connections. When I was managing Poteza Ventures Fund here in the region, or the C Fund in Croatia, we would get blind emails from companies. It's a very low probability way of raising money. Much better to network and to come and meet me somehow. That also shows me two things. Number one, that you're serious enough to figure out how to meet me. It also shows me, number two, that you're good enough at sales to come and meet me. So again, the internet-based approach is nice, but if you can do a more face-to-face social approach, that's better.
Okay, anybody else who'd like to share some insights?
Yeah, I think one good way is also, if you send an email, you should have a referral that, okay, you know Branko and Branko gave my name or something like that. If it's only a sort of like cold call or cold email, then it's not very good, because that, for example, me, I get around 1,000 cases in a year. So you must somehow come more up in my inbox with referral or something like that. Of course, networking is the best, but also you should look who you want to get your money, because all investors are not same. So you should do the due diligence on the investors. So can this investor add value to your case? Is it the right investor? So you should also double check the investor. Maybe call entrepreneurs who this investor has backed earlier.
Okay,
So,
if you could just pass your mic. You have a mic already. Okay.
I think that nowadays it's not that tricky to reach somebody in the world, with email, telephone, social media, whatever. But it is very helpful if a startup brings some luggage with it. That means a backpack with a proof of concept and probably some customers already using the product or the services. Probably other information which is proving that the idea is serious and makes sense.
That's absolutely right. So, I mean, it's really easy to contact people around the world today completely. However, grabbing their attention, that's the thing we all want to do, and do it well. Okay, moving on to Mike Edelhart from Social Starts. So I believe, if I'm right, you have already invested into 2 Slovenian startups, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so could you briefly explain your view on geographical boundaries regarding venture capital, and basically, is it hard to invest outside of your own country?
Well, about boundaries, we believe very much in increasingly borderless markets. That's true in terms of teams, so we have teams where one member is in the US, dev might be in Slovenia, a designer might be in Italy, and folks can stay where they are because there's no reason to move them. The communication is such that that's immaterial. And it's true in terms of the customers as well. So I've been using Line as an example. The mobile community that was started in Korea, perfected in Japan, came to the U.S. as a third market. That's a flow for a startup we wouldn't have seen even a few years ago. So we don't even think in terms of national markets anymore. That being said, we're not Slovenian or investors in this region. We just look for talent. And in the case of the Slovenian companies that we've invested in, we invested in them as they came to our attention in the U.S. market. So it's not as if this is the first time I've ever been here. It's not as if we have folks in this region or haven't had folks looking at teams on the ground here, understanding the local situation. But in one case, just a very strong team got started here. Samantha, founder, came to the U.S. because they knew it was time to grow. We invested the minute they got there. They've done fabulously. A big chunk of the company is still here. And the other, Povia, interestingly, the company started here, went through beta here, essentially used Slovenia as a beta test, did well, and then the CEO went to the U.S., took the company through the YC accelerator to get himself and the company ready for the U.S. market, even though it was already an existing company. And that's where we got attention to him and invested. So we'll look wherever there's talent, regardless of the location.
Okay. Should, something that we touched upon maybe on an earlier session this morning, but should, in terms of the startup, should they be thinking, should they have a mindset of thinking internationally from day one? Should they be thinking kind of an international mindset from the word go? What would you say?
I think it's a function of, I don't believe in these labels. I think the labels can be confusing and can affect the behavior of the team. So if you think you're a B2B company, it's as if somehow human beings aren't your customers. And if you're a B2C company, that somehow business has nothing to do with it. And all of those behaviors are changing. So if you're making something for jet engines, you're in the international market from day one because you have customers all over the world. If you're in a consumer market, your expansion may start in one market and spread to others. It's a function, in the end, of what group of human beings do you have value for, and where are they, and how can you reach them? And that's a function of whether you start in the local market or start in the U.S., or you've got one customer in each of 20 countries.
Okay, anyone else who'd like to jump in?
If I can just follow up on that, I think this is a good point. So often entrepreneurs are being told, young people are being told, go for a global idea, go for something that is huge, give me the next Facebook. And most of my investments and ones I've had great success in are ones that are regional. There's a pay TV channel called Classic TV I invested in. It's just covering the Balkans. It's doing fabulously well. Bolha.com had a great exit, Slovenian website. Mojposo.hr had a fantastic exit to Daily Mail. It's a Croatian website. So if you have an idea that fits globally, fantastic. But if not, there's nothing wrong with shooting for local or regional, as long as it's still a good business idea and you can scale it to a reasonable size.
For me, is it very important that the startups think globally very early, but they have to start with the market entry in one clear, defined market. It's also very important to think about the venture capitalist industry. It means before startups go to the investors, they should have an own overview about these investors, the national, the regional investors, but also the international investors, and they have to understand what these investors do. That's very important.
Okay.
Just one more thing. If somebody comes to me and says that he has a global vision, sometimes this can be a red light, because becoming global from the seed stage, it takes so much time and so much money that I cannot provide. So if somebody says I have a global vision, he has to have a clear idea which markets are first, not just global, because here in Slovenia, normally it happens that People are saying, okay, we'll start in Slovenia, then we'll expand to the region, and then we're going global. And they haven't been to US yet. So you have to know your market before you start selling your product there.
And
Jure.
great. I think Mike.
Yeah.
Mike wants the mic.
Well, just one thought on that. I think all these plans are terrific. It's important to have them, and it's important to recognize with the quote, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. That once you get out in front of people and doing what you do, unexpected things happen. You may think you're starting in Slovenia and find out there are people in Thailand who become obsessed with your program for uses you never even imagined, and you have to react to that and just let the world start teaching you what it wants your product and company to be.
Great. Okay, so next question for John Bradford, Managing Director of Techstars London. So any important part of every accelerator is its mentorship program. Why is mentoring such an important part of acceleration?
So I'm a really old fart. Actually, there's quite a few of us on the stage, which is very sad in some respects. And I was part of a startup in 2000, and we raised $25 million. We lasted 12 months. We didn't produce anything. It was everything you would expect of a .com startup. We did a back-of-an-envelope calculation about 2 years ago to try and, if we had to replicate a really bad startup, how much would it cost? And we actually worked out it was going to be about $250,000. It was 1/100th of the cost. So the cost of actually doing startups has fundamentally fallen through the floor. And so what historically you used to have was the barrier to entry was money. And you used to have this thing called an advisory board, and they would connect you with a few people, and it might be helpful, but primarily the money was the barrier to entry. As the cost has completely and dramatically fallen through the floor, actually the other half of that, the advisory board, the people you're connected to, are actually where you create the unfair advantage. Overlay that with everything which has happened around social media and social networks, with things like Twitter and Facebook, we are now more connected than we have ever been in our life. I think historically it was, you could have 30 friends, and I think Facebook now says you should have 200. I think very few people have 200. I think they have about 2,000 close friends. But essentially the connectedness that we now exist in, and the experience and the know-how and the knowledge actually is where the difference happens when you're starting a business. And actually trying to get to that is actually the key dynamic, which is more likely to create success rather than my check's bigger than your check.
I think this is really important thing, this mentoring issue. Angels, when they invest, it's not about the money, it's more like a knowledge and networks. We give knowledge and our networks to the benefit of the startup. And I quite often say that money without mentoring, it's lost money. So mentoring is very, very important.
I wanted to agree with that entirely and add, just for entrepreneurs in the room and also for some of the folks talking about creating an ecosystem here, that one of the little tragedies in the startup world today is that it is now so easy to get a company started. There's so much money at the beginning. And it's natural to have the belief that since you got the company started, you will have an A round. And statistics say you won't. There's about the same amount of money available for A-round investing as there was 5 years ago. Many more companies trying to get that money. So the bar for what it takes to get an A-round keeps rising, and the time it takes to get to the A-round keeps extending. And it's tragic to see a company hung up almost making it and not quite making the A-round. So we're actually finding we're doing a lot of mentoring with the companies to prepare them for the A-round, to counsel them on the A-round, to let them know what's going to be expected of them, and to increase the chance they actually get there, because it's far from automatic.
Great. Okay, again, remember, if you do have a question, please put your hand up. I have a question. You don't have a mic. You have a question, but not a mic. Yep.
Hello. Hi, my name is Maya. I have one question. It's maybe a bit out of the topic because of the conference is talking about startups, high growth, money, exits, as you said. But how many times it's the question to all of you, how many times do you consider to investing maybe in some social enterprise or social business idea? Because, you know, maybe in 10 years, 20 years, money won't be a matter anymore, and this is then a much bigger risk for you. So the purpose, how many times do you thinking to, or consider to invest in such company with a purpose?
So I personally believe that good business has great social impact. And actually the primary driver for growth and impact of social is actually a profit-making business with core values which align with an interest or a factor. And some of my best teams have massive social impact. So I think actually saying you can be profitable and you're bad and you can be some sort of social enterprise and it's a charity, I think those days have gone. I think entrepreneurs at the very center of the business actually are the people who drive the spirit and the purpose of that business. And actually you can align both money and social impact at the same time.
We don't know where the future leads to, but what we know, and that's valid today, and I guess this will be valid in 10 years also, that if you're solving a real problem, then people will be happy with that. And for that, they will give something, however we call it.
Yeah, I think it's a very important issue and very, very good topic. Even in EBAN, European Business Angel Network, where I'm vice president, also we have an impact investing committee. But from the investor point of view, it's if the case is very good and it's giving probably very good returns, and if there's still a third element of impact, why not? But investors don't invest to some case with a lower expectation, even it's in an impact investing area. I think that's the key message. It's anyhow investing, and we want our money back and a good return, and this is not philanthropy.
Yeah, I would like to extend on the point of I definitely think the social interests and monetary interests can be combined. And Fiedler Capital's first investment actually is called #charity. I think it's a great example of that. It's basically a platform where charities can come together with IT experts and people who can help them on IT projects. And so they're busy growing at the moment, and that was our very first investment, and we're very proud of them, and I think there will be a lot more like them to come.
In our group of investment, we divide sustainable and not. If you have a look to Job Me Too, is a platform to put together companies and disabled persons. That is definitely a social activity, and we invested because we think that is a profitable business with definitely a big impact on disabled person, etc.
Great.
Job Me Too, have a look.
Great. Thank you, Maya, for that question. If Maya can ask a question, so can you. So if anyone else has a question over the next 20, 25 minutes, please put your hand up and fire away. Okay, next question is for Dejan Rolic from ABC Accelerator Slovenia. So can you just maybe tell us a little bit about your opinion on the state of the development of the Slovenian startup scene and entrepreneurial ecosystem?
Yeah, sure. Actually, when you ask me this question, I have to tell that the Podim is the great event, and congrats to all the organizers, because through the Podim you're actually making us the pool that we actually have somebody to pick up of these startups. So the thing is, yeah, the region is growing, it's developing. I was just in Belgrade and in Dubrovnik And I must say, they're also moving forward. So, when people are saying, is this market too small, to test your product and to invest in a startup that are on this market? I don't think so. It is 2 million people market, but the region is much bigger. And we are connected through the language that is similar and to mentality. So you're actually investing in the region. Otherwise, yeah, through this startup initiatives, through this kind of great events, we are actually inviting this gentleman and all the investors to come to us. And when they come, this is your opportunity. And as long as we are doing this kind of things, we are on the world's map. Otherwise, we're not. So, yeah, we're moving forward, definitely, and this event shows us and proves it.
Great. Okay, any more questions on the stage, perhaps? Audience for Dan. Yes, we'll give you a microphone in 2 seconds.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Srećko Velimirović, and I have a question for the podium. How about, we were talking about, or you were talking about investing in Slovenian companies. And then these companies actually get global. But what about creating a Slovenian company and staying here in Slovenia and operating globally? How about this? Is it possible for you to invest in Slovenian companies and actually create a Slovenian brand? Thank you.
I don't see any problem on that.
Short and sweet.
The challenge for a US-based investor in investing in a company in the local economy is that we can't be experts in all of the local economies, and we can't be experts in all the parts of all the local economies. So for us, it's not only a question of that particular company, but all the work we'd have to do to know enough to have a point of view that would allow us to know what we thought. And when we look at those situations, it becomes challenging. So the more familiar we get, the more we're there. But each investor has a different role. That's a role for folks that are focused here, live here, understand the customs here in a way that investors at a distance like us may not.
I find that actually a really weird question. So I work in an organization. I'm from Belfast. I work in London. My co-worker's from Hong Kong. I have a friend who also works with me. He's reaching from London, and his co-worker is from the US. We work with Estonian businesses, Israeli businesses. We work from businesses around the world. The way businesses constitute themselves now, the idea of it being a Slovenian business, I don't think exists anymore. We now work in a world where there's massively distributed workforces across many multiple borders. And so actually defining where a company is actually based, other than where the address for the registered company is actually very strange. So you would never describe a Facebook as, oh, it's a Mountain View business. It's actually a global business. So if you want to be a global business, I personally think you need to be out there. And actually the thing that you want to see is you want to see your CEO racking up air miles around the world, meeting lots of different people and connecting himself to places around the globe.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that point. From Fiedler Capital's perspective, we're really interested. We're investing in startups all across Eastern Europe, and one of the advantages we see for Eastern European companies like Slovenia is that you can keep the tech at home. You have a huge advantage here in terms of cost of employing people. And then, so what we want to do is take startups, take the business development to London, and from there take them to the US. So actively help them raise an A round in London, and then when they're ready, take them to the US. But I definitely agree that without leaving Slovenia, it's difficult if you want to have a global business.
Okay, so a question now for Branko Drobnjak from from Slovenia. Business Angel Slovenia, absolutely. So you've got years of serial entrepreneurship, and you've managed many different companies. You've seen so many successes over the years, and I'm sure, equally, you've seen a lot of failures as well. Can you maybe sum up why startups fail?
Because of the lack of working capital. Usually, the projections of costs are too low, projections of income are too high, and very enthusiastic, and usually we find out that that is not the case. And then the team is getting upset, somebody are leaving, others are coming, and there is a sentiment in the team which lose the temper, passion, and that's the major problem. And of course, the VCs or other investors are more strict in second round of capital than in the first one. Because at the first one, you believe that the big idea will be fulfilled, but once you see that they are failing on the way to deliver services or product, then you became skeptical, and that's why they have more problem in getting second round of VC money than in the first time. That's why I would say to everybody, be realistic in your to-do homework, and be realistic in your market projections. Because to obtain market, to grab the market, it takes much longer, and it costs much more than you can imagine.
Okay, thank you. A question now for Jure Mikuš from RSG Capital, and I must add, the Podim Challenge 2015 is happening basically because of the support and sponsorship of RSG Capital. Put your hands together for RSG Capital. Okay, Jure. Having a VC on board is naturally a positive thing, but what are perhaps some of the positive and negative points of having a VC on board, would you say?
Well, you have to ask this question to my portfolio companies, not to me, actually. Definitely, having a VC on board in some cases, in many cases, it's a must. It's not a choice, it's a must. Because if you're active in some industries that are very intensive in terms of the capital required for this, you cannot develop those businesses without having a proper investor on board. And at the same time, you have to know that you're not the only one who is running the company anymore. So you have to take advantage, as Ari said, you have to perform a full due diligence of the investor, not just vice versa, because you have to know who is the guy, who's coming on board, and have, let's say, decide whether you want this guy to have in your daily life or not.
Okay.
Can I add? Okay. Yeah, I think if you have a VC or angels in your board, you actually already made a decision to sell your company, most probably, because it's an exit then. It means exit if you take an investor. Investors need to have an exit. And this was very good what colleague here said, that you really need to do due diligence on the investor, because you need to live every day with that investor. So do you have a chemistry, and do you want to see that guy or every day? So it's a cooperation. You develop the company together. I quite often compare taking an investor to go married. If you're entrepreneur, you're taking an investor, you're sort of going to be married with that investor. But with the planned divorce, I mean the exit. That's the planned divorce. That's the only how it differs. So you really cooperate with your investor. You work together. So it's like a marriage, but with the planned divorce. It's even written in the shareholders' agreement that we might divorce after 5 years.
Right, so a marriage made
in
heaven,
or we must divorce.
A marriage made in heaven, but always have a back door open for the divorce. Okay. Are there any last questions from the audience before we wrap up the question and answer session? Any last questions? No. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for members here on stage who have given their insights and advice on startup and investment. Okay, I think we're ready, just about ready for the pitches. What do you think? Are we ready for the pitches? Yes. Listen, I'm ready for the pitches. Are you guys ready for the pitches? I'm sure you are. You don't sound like you're ready, but I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. Okay, so let's just again quickly run through the rules. Each startup on stage will have up to 5 minutes to do their thing, to deliver their pitch. After that 5 minutes, you guys, you can then ask questions up to 5 minutes regarding that pitch, and then I will ask you to vote. You clearly hold up green card or a red card to tell us whether you're interested, you want to chat with them afterwards, a one-to-one meeting, and get to know the startups a little bit better, or basically say, I'm not interested at all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the very first startup. This is a startup called BG Boat Guard.
Thank you. So, Boat Guard, giving boat owners peace of mind about their marine asset. Many people dream about owning a yacht, but when they do, they actually spend 60 days a year on it, while the rest of the time the boat stays all alone in a marina. And it needs regular checks to prevent unpleasant surprises, such as empty battery, water in the hull, cabin humidity, or even theft. Boat owners go about solving this problem by getting a serviceman or a friend to check on their boat, or drive to the boat themselves to see what's going on. But these are all inconvenient and unreliable ways. The solution is a remote boat monitoring system, which is independent and reliable way of staying in touch with the boat while the owner is not there. It's always on, it can send an alarm when something gets wrong, and you can also check statuses and control systems such as cabin humidity management, remote engine start, and others. Why is now a good time for Boat Guard? Because mobile device usage among our target group has gone over 50% in 2014. And because of the economic situation, high maintenance assets became expensive to keep, and people are looking for cost-effective ways to control them. The market is the boat owners that leave a boat in a marina all year long. They're 50 years old or older, upper middle class males. There's 2.5 million boats in marinas in the United States and Europe. The size that we're targeting, 7 to 14 meters, there's 2 million such boats. And we are looking to acquire 200,000 customers in the next 5 years. There's already some competition on the market. I've listed them according to specific functionalities which are important to boat owners. And Boat Guard obviously comes as the best choice for every customer. That's because it's purpose-built for marine use, because it can operate all year long because of low-power technology, and it's extendable with marine-specific controllers. So what we've done so far, we've built a demonstration prototype in 2013. We've shown it to some customers, and based on the feedback that we got, we built a prototype series by September. We launched the product at the industry fair in Amsterdam and bought Düsseldorf in Germany. And we're now starting to sell first and install first units. So what's the business model? We're selling the device for 680 euro plus tax, and at a wholesale price of 400 euro. And we also sell a connectivity service for 99 euro a year through a dealer network. We estimated the customer lifetime value at 500 euro. The team, we have Marco, the hardware engineer. Then on the right side, another Marco, he's an app developer and also for server applications. Then Janus, the industrial designer. And myself, I've been active in management and product development for about 15 years. So I think that we have a well-balanced team on all the major areas important for a hardware startup. We're looking for 250,000 euro seed investment to build our marketing and sales team, for marketing cost and marketing support of the dealer network, to further develop our hardware modules and upgrade the application, and last but not least, to finance a batch of 200 units. So, thank you very much.
Question.
Yeah.
How many days in average you or any of your team members spend on the boat per year?
Well, about 3 weeks a year, maybe something like that.
These are your boats where this is already installed, or?
You're asking the team members how much time the team members spent on the boat?
On their boats, yeah.
Yeah. Not on their own boats, but on the hired boats, rental boats.
Okay, they spend their time on charter boats.
Yeah.
So they don't care about those boats. They care just about 1,500 euros for the, that you have to pay in advance, and that's it. You can crash the boat, that's it. So they have no pain in this, and no need for this solution.
No, the boat owner is the one who has actually the problem that we're trying to solve.
I have sort of a two-part question. One, given that you're going to all the effort of building controllers, extensors, et cetera, it seems like you'd want to go after the biggest market you possibly could. And so there are lots of places, homes, offices, vaults, that might need protection. You can't hear the question?
Yeah, I have trouble hearing. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. So it seems like there would be many markets for this kind of thing, many of them bigger than yachts, offices, homes. Why did you choose yachts when it seems relatively small compared to other markets?
Well, the main reason was that in the environment where we started, we had several companies that we worked together who are from the marine market, and we thought it's going to be the fastest way to purpose-build the technology to have ability to come to market with something. And on the other hand, also the marine industry is a niche market, and that means that there are lower barriers to entry for new companies. So in this case, it's easier in the marine industry to become a brand, to become a player in the market than it is, for example, in the home industry or electrical installation or something like that.
The second part of the question is, who's the actual customer here? Do you believe the yacht owners will actually buy this and put it in themselves?
Yacht owners and businesses that own yachts. So the actual person who owns the yacht, but then there are businesses like taxi services, charter companies and companies like that that also have the specific requirements for a product like this or for a platform, so for some functionality that we offer with our product.
I was excited when you start your presentation because I am a boat owner. Mm-hmm. And I'm always nervous when there is Bora in Trieste because I don't know what's going on. But your application is domotic applied to a boat. Boatic. Okay? Mm-hmm. I have standard sensors that I bought for domotics, mm-hmm. and I installed by myself in the boat. I can check on my iPad. Mm-hmm. What's the value added in reality? Did you patent something? Because in my opinion, your proposal seems to me vulnerable.
Well, our core technological advantage is that the similar products on the market, like the ones I've shown, they spend about 10 times more energy. And the core, let's say, benefit of our system is that you can have it plugged directly to the boat battery, which means that you can leave it on all year long. You don't switch it off when you leave the boat. whilst you are required by the marina, by the rules also, by the law, to not to leave the boat plugged in. So the boat, when you're not there, is dependent on the battery that's in the boat, and let's say that the other systems, like the one you mentioned, will drain the battery.
Do you have any patent?
Sorry?
Do you have any IP, intellectual property or patent?
Apart from the brand, no. As far, I mean, in the let's say that the core hardware technology is not patented. It's not even patentable, I think, but it's a smart solution anyway. So.
One question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are you a technology leader in that field now?
Sorry?
You have a technology leadership with your product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No? The one of the founders, Marco, is a technology expert. Is that the question?
And the second question is, I invested in more than 50 seed investments during my VC time, and the investments in that stage started with 20 years ago with 500,000 Mark, Deutschmarks, now with 500,000 euro. Is that amount, is it the right amount that you need for the next 1.5 or 2 years?
Yeah. I mean, 250,000 is what gets us through this year and the next year with the sales that we are planning to do in this time. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for B.G. Bogard. Okay, so this is where the fun starts. So 3, 2, 1, and then just hold up either green or red. If you can just hold it up for about 4 seconds, just so our assistant here can count them. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, show us. Okay, thank you very much. Wonderful. Okay, we now move on to our second pitch. But remember, again, I'm sure as you listen to the pitches, there's lots of things going through your minds, lots of your own opinions. You're thinking to yourself, well, lots of things I'm sure you're thinking. Hashtag Podim 2015, Twitter. Let's hear, let's see. Let's hear what you're thinking, if it's perhaps the same as the people here on stage. Okay, so put your hands together for pitch number 2. It goes by the name of Oculus Diagnostics.
Hi, I'm Jan Gala. I'm from Oculus Diagnostica. We are developing an algorithm for early diagnostics of Parkinson and Alzheimer's disease. As you all know, the population is aging really fast. But what's got that to do with you, with you all? Well, by the year of 60, when you'll be 60 years old, every third person in this room will have either Parkinson's or Alzheimer's disease. And if you, by any chance, your doctor diagnoses a disease at this moment, you need to wait for half a year for a specialist examination and another year and a half for a control check. So basically, for 2 years, you will not know either you have the disease or not. But if we look at some data, so in European Union, over 8.5 million patients suffer from either Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. Yearly cost of treatment exceed 119 billion euros, and only for diagnostics alone, only over €1 billion is spent in European Union. Current methods of diagnostics are cost inefficient, potentially dangerous, and invasive. And what is most important is they did not detect the disease in early take-on. So our solution is an eye movement-based biomarker measurement algorithm that will basically represent a simple, affordable, non-invasive, and reliable diagnostic tool. As we already mentioned, so it's a non-invasive method. It will be used in primary care level usage. It will instantly differentiate between diseases. It will increase quality and availability in preclinical disease diagnostics, decrease financial impact of disease management, and we will facilitate data for neurodegenerative research. So we will offer the data to the specialists later on so they can work on the field as well, because no cure currently exists. Yeah? It also has, of course, the greater impact. It's increased sustainability of healthcare systems, and it will raise health standards for EU citizens. So as we mentioned, the trend of aging population, the population is aging really fast, but what is even more surprising is the number of people with dementia. So from 2010 to 2030, the patients and the prevalence will double, so there will be over 76 million patients in 2030. In phase 1, we will cover Italy, Austria, Slovenia, and Croatia. That's a total market size of a bit less than 200 million euros. In phase 2, by the end of year 2017, we would like to cover the whole European Union, so as we saw, the total market size is over 1 billion. The target users are physicians and ambulatory care clinics, specialized clinics that offer this kind of services. We identified 19,450 of them in Italy, Austria, Slovenia, and Croatia. We will charge a yearly subscription of 9,900 euros. And we estimated the customer acquisition cost around 2,000 euros. So in first 3 years, we would like to cover or get 350 users, which translates in 3.5 million euros of revenues. And in year 5, 950 users, and that translates in 9.5 million euros. The team, and our team, Dr. Zvezdan Pirtošek, Professor Dr. Zvezdan Pirtošek, he is the head of neurology department in Clinical Center of Ljubljana. He's a professor of neuroscience, and he's an active researcher of neurodegenerative diseases. Dr. Alexander Sadikov, he's the head of artificial intelligence at Faculty for Computer Science. Also, Vida Groznik is now completing the PhD from programming. Mr. Tomaž Rjavc, he's an advisor, he's a multiple startup owner. Doctrina is one of the most known, and he's an eye tracking expert. Me, I was leading different companies in Slovenia and abroad. I worked 6 years abroad, have over 10 years of experience in pharma business. So, we are seeking for 300,000 euros. This is...
Unfortunately, I'm sorry, 5 minutes is up. It has to be, I think everyone will agree, 5 minutes fair and square. Put your hands together for Oculus Diagnostics. Questions? So questions from our jury.
Oh, what's your sales approach, marketing?
So we divided that in different phases. So first we would like to acquire the private clinics and the private sector, because we believe that they can offer their services, include them in different packages, so they would take it on earlier. Of course, then we would like to go to public insurances, so they can offer it also through the public sector clinics, and there would be basically therapy that would be supported by public health sector.
Your product is an algorithm.
Yeah, an algorithm.
Purely an algorithm.
Purely an algorithm. We will not deal in hardware because we believe that that is more capital intensive, and here the development of hardware is quite fast. So we are focusing on algorithm alone.
Okay, but your presentation is asking for money. We know the story of Alzheimer. I know that I'm aging, not so fast because I'm aging like everybody. I tend to preserve myself. I am an investor in medtech, but you must tell us something more in terms of the product, because how to judge if it's good or bad? Not enough for me. An algorithm must be approved, is a medical device. You must pass through FDA. You must pass through FDA med.
Yeah, in US, yeah. Otherwise, in Europe, we will have it clinically validated. So we now submitted an ethical committee in a neurologic clinic of Ljubljana. So once we have a pilot, we believe that we will have the pilot algorithm to the end of the year. We will clinically validate it. If it goes through validation, we will finish the product, package it, and then, if we want to enter the US market, we need to pass it through FDA, but this is really expensive, so here we would then later on need a partner, but for European Union, this is a bit different. Yeah.
Could you be a bit more specific in EU? So you're first trying to go to these first buyers, first markets, but then you see EU, it's 28 countries, so can you be more specific on your target markets?
Of course. So our idea is first to cover the neighboring countries, so Italy, Austria, Slovenia and Croatia, so this is in phase one. And then later on, of course, we will participate in different medical congresses and we'll see where it will get us. So
it's open. So.
Yeah.
I have a two-part question. The first one is, do you have any kind of proof of concept? Have you tested this even in a rudimentary fashion? And the second part of that question is, what do you want the 300,000 euros for?
Okay. We currently do not have yet the proof of concept. So what we are doing now is gathering data and setting up the prototype. So after the prototype gets clinically validated, so this will be the proof of concept, and only in this case our story can be successful. And this is what we are aiming to, and we are quite confident that we will get through this. The 300,000 euros, we need to, so first, to complete the studies, clinically validate the biomarker, set the algorithm, and bring it through clinical validation.
So, okay. It seems like a very interesting idea, but I would imagine you can get some kind of state or EU funding for this kind of very early stage technology development.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Thank you for the question. It's a relevant question, of course. It will take us to get to the market at least a year. And still, of course, the majority of the work needs to be done because of the nature of the idea. So the idea is that we need to get it clinically validated or it doesn't work. And this is why we need to make all these steps that cost and needs financing.
Okay, so that's every second really does count, doesn't it? Again, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the 5 minutes question and answer. Put your hands together for Oculus Diagnostics. Okay, think long, think hard. What are you going to do? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, cards up. Okay, thank you. We now move on. We move on to pitch number 3. Pitch number 3 simply goes by the name of the social bet. Put your hands together for the social bet.
Well, hi, my name is Philip. This is my colleague Paul. We are the founders of the social bet, and it is a great pleasure for us to get the chance to show our product today to you. First, I want to ask you a question. Who of you likes watching big sports events like the football World Cup, for example, or even likes actively doing sports? Please show some hands. Yeah, good. And who also likes to challenge his or her friends every now and then? Yeah, okay. So do we, and this is why we created the social bet. Bet friends, not bookies. We think traditional online sports betting is absolutely disappointing for us. The social character of betting, human against human, friend against friend, has been totally lost. Instead, people go to anonymous web pages and bet against the bookies and their fixed odds. Therefore, we invented the social bet, a social betting platform for sports, e-games, and entertainment events, completely free of bookies and odds. Users have the chance to interact with their friends and their colleagues within private groups, and they can choose for the stake themselves. In addition, they have the chance to join official groups and win amazing prizes there. In June last year, we launched our first version, only a few days before the World Cup, Football World Cup. Even though this version offered just the basic core functionalities, already about 1,000 users registered and enjoyed playing. Since this successful starting point, we worked hard to enhance our platform, and a few months ago we realized that we also invented something companies can profit from, Paul.
Well, exactly, Phil. We realized that there's a real pain for companies when it comes to traditional marketing. First, traditional marketing is always pushed by the company and not pulled by the customer. And secondly, it's always at the wrong moment. Just imagine bulk mailing straight goes into the waste paper bin, or imagine you're watching a very exciting movie and then suddenly advertising appears. I bet most of us would immediately switch the channel. We have now a solution to ease this pain. We have an interactive marketing tool where the customer is in the focus of attention. The social bet is the bridge between the brand and its customers. Through our tipping game, the company gets more coverage and new leads. In addition, the company also receives registered users and can also enhance and strengthen the brand and product awareness. Our tailor-made solution helps the user to interact actively and over a long period with the company in a very playful and entertaining manner. Usability is king for us. We invented our own betting grid, so the user will never need a save button or a keyboard again. Just tip and scroll, that's how easy it is. Our business model is based on two parts, on initial setup costs and a monthly fee. The monthly fee either is based on the number of events and users, or is a revenue share based on the page impressions. The second approach is especially interesting for media companies. For the private user, it's always free of charge. With the beginning of 2015, we start to work on our company marketing tool. Our goal for 2016 is to sign up 80 companies with a revenue of 1.2 million euros, and we're also looking for to boost our marketing and sales activities by an external investment to reach this goal even faster. We have a highly ambitious and very motivated team. You already know Phil. He's the man with the magic fingers, our software developer. Then we have Matthias. He cannot be here at the moment because he's still working at Google at the headquarters in Dublin. And I'm responsible for sales and for corporate finance matters. So this is our team for your success. Many thanks for your attention, and please feel free to ask questions.
I got confused halfway through, so I want to make sure I was clear. At the beginning, it sounded sort of like fantasy sports, as if you had individuals picking teams, And then halfway through, it was a marketing platform, and I lost fantasy sports. So help me understand just what it is. Is this fantasy sports or a social platform or something else is going on for advertisers? I got lost.
Yeah, many thanks for the question. We started as a fantasy tipping platform where users can interact with their friends. And then we realized how much traffic and how much retention our product has. So we built up a white label marketing tool for companies, which, for example, Coca-Cola could get in their design. They put it on every can as a QR code, and people can tip on the Coca-Cola tipping game. They can win cool prizes like whip packages.
I still don't understand it, I'm sorry, and I'll leave it after this question, but are actual bets being made, or is this just discussion about teams and bragging at the bar kind of thing?
Every user has to answer the same questions about who will win, who will be second place, which team will win which game. We do it now also for the Eurovision Song Contest, just simple questions. And if you answer the questions, depending how good they are, if they're right or wrong, you're collecting points for a ranking. And in the ranking, you can match yourself with your colleagues, your friends, or just other participants. And the best in the ranking will win cool prizes from the companies.
Sorry, I don't think that I caught this if you said it, but what is your current traction? Have you made any sales at all?
For traction, Phil will say a word. We go back to the milestones, we just started sales in April now, and we have already 6 proposals out on the market with a total revenue of about 120,000 euros, more or less. And yeah. So we're just one month at the market with our marketing tool.
And how many users is that?
At the current stage, we are about 1,500 users. So we were able to acquire about 500 after the Football World Cup, because the Football World Cup was really the big event and our starting point. And now we enhanced our platform and we're able to get 500 users.
I like the idea, and in effect, my group of angels already invested in something like. Okay. Do you know the situation of competition? Because it's quite a crowded platform and proposal.
There we have to split the competition, I guess, because it depends if you just look on the betting sector or on the marketing tool. This is a very strong difference. We have one main competitor for the tipping game, which is Kicktip in the German region, German-speaking region. It's very big, but it's an old monster.
Okay, I have a question regarding the theme. So are you fully dedicated just to this project, or are you doing something else too?
I'm fully dedicated, full-time. I quit it last year in September at the advisory at PwC. Philip will follow next month, and the other tools, whenever we have enough sales, revenue, whatever. So 2 or 4 are doing it part-time. We don't want to have a too high burn rate.
And who's taking care about the development?
Basically
you two?
The whole team, but yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, put your hands together for the social bets. So, the moment of truth once again. Think hard, think quickly. What are you going to do? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Show us your cards. What is that? Is that red and green? Is that red? Oh, it's just green. Okay. Would you like to see if you just twist around, let the audience see? Okay, thank you. Right, we move on now to our 4th pitch. Now remember, again, coming on this stage is not an easy task. To pitch your idea, your big idea that you're passionate about, may seem easy, but again, when you're up here on this stage and you can see what I'm seeing, it's not always easy to do that, and especially in another language as well. Okay, so the 4th pitch of the Podim 2015 challenge is a startup by the name of VR. Put your hands together for VR.
Hello, everybody. So we are VR, and we are helping architects experience their designs while they're still being developed, and their clients, of course. First, I would like to talk about this. This is a part of an IQ test, and it measures your ability to visualize and manipulate three-dimensional objects. And more than 1 billion people have serious problems doing this. For them, it's just hard to imagine things in three-dimensional space. And it's not just about their ability or our ability. Sometimes a room can look bigger than it really is. It's a type of an illusion. And that's why it's so hard for architects to communicate their ideas to their clients and to other people. They usually have to use things like floor plans, renders, or computer animations, but these are still only two-dimensional representations of a three-dimensional world. So, here we come in. We are giving architects a tool to experience their designs in virtual reality. And by taking care of the technology part, we are letting them focus on their layout and the quality of the living space. Everything they have to do is upload their design, view it in virtual reality, share it with colleagues or clients, and then improve it. By doing so, we're not only helping them communicate effectively with their clients, but we're also giving them a chance to find hiccups and mistakes in their own work. With this, they can finish their projects sooner and with greater quality of living space. So they can use our service in two ways. One of them is free, but you can only upload one model, and the model will be public for anybody to experience it. The other one is meant for businesses whose models will be private. You will get analytics and a certain level of app customization. There's more than 600,000 architectural firms out there, and even with a 3% conversion, we're still looking at 1.8 million euros of potential monthly income. Our estimated break-even point is at 150 paying users. So, as you see, we are focusing on mobile VR because of the distribution of smartphones, of course, and their increasing processing power. Together with all the developer tools and platform support and the upcoming releases of consumer products, we feel that this is the right time to start this venture. So in March, at the end of March, we started our company. And in the first 2 weeks, we got our first sales. And now we're building our prototype, and hopefully in the summer we will release our beta version. We are a team of 4 co-founders. Marco is our lead programmer. His ex-company that he founded is making an exit now. Giga is just our web ninja, and Blaž already closed sales worth more than 40,000 euros and like that. And I have the balls to come here and pitch in front of you. So I put that part. What we need to execute this is we're looking for a seed investment of 75,000 euros, and we are offering 20% of the company to get it. So thank you for your attention. Oh, this is unexpected. Hopefully you're considering of taking this path with us. Thank you.
Do you know SolidWorks? Sorry, you?
Oh, sorry.
Do you know SolidWorks, the e-drawings app?
Yeah.
What's the difference to that?
Sorry, I know SolidWorks. One part of my education is being a mechanical engineer, and I can tell you my experience. We were developing something for Bosch and Siemens Group for home appliances, and we use SolidWorks, of course. And after we developed, we 3D printed it, and we had a presentation. And the big problem was we were making an automatic food cooker for risotto. And what we encountered was that the stupid carrot didn't go through the hole when it should, because on the screen and by all the proportions, it looked well. Through the screen, everything looked okay. Our calculations was correct, but the actual experience wasn't. It didn't work.
Question, will this work with Oculus Rift?
We will, it's not just Oculus Rift. You have HTC that's coming at the end of this year. You have Oculus that's coming, let's say, in March, and then you have Sony coming at the end of next year. And it will take a while before they are distributed, before there's enough of them sold. So right now we're focusing on mobile VR. But yeah, it will work with Oculus Rift when it comes, when the time is for us to spread to that platform.
Okay, so I think those kind of platforms are very exciting, and I've been looking for anybody who's working on those platforms. So if you do, that would be interesting. It'd be interesting if you work on those platforms and gain competency, if you can take this in other directions as well, not just from a design perspective, but I do think that those platforms are the next video game and gaming consoles. Also, just a tip, I don't know what my colleagues think, I wouldn't put, first of all, I think you're selling your shares in the company too cheaply. And second of all, I wouldn't put it up there. And probably at this stage, you're looking at more of what's called a convertible structure. We'd put money in, and we don't really worry about the valuation until the next round, and then we convert our shares into, our investment into shares in the next round based upon the next round valuation. Okay. But I'm happy to chat with you about that afterwards.
We want to chat about with you too, because you said you're from Dubai, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
so that's one of the really interesting markets for us also.
I think so as well. I think so as well. Yep.
And let me just add this. Thanks to Mr. Drobniak, we did start to look at some other segments that we can use our technology at. So, yeah.
Can you describe your product once again and tell how scalable it is? Because this kind of tools sometimes might be that you need to do some customization or something like that.
Excuse me, can you repeat? Because the sound is echoing so much, it's really hard to hear you guys. You know?
Okay, so describe your product once again. And what about the scalability? How scalable it is?
Okay, so what we are offering is it works in two parts. It's a web interface where you upload your model, let's say. And then the other part is a native mobile app. And you upload your model through our web interface, it goes to our server, and then when you log into our app, it downloads that model for you, and then you can watch it in virtual reality. That's like the most elementary thing that, how can I explain in 1 minute?
Two-part question. How are you going to sell this to architects? What is your go-to-market strategy? And which markets are the most interesting for you to focus on at first?
Yeah, so right now we are in really early stage, so we are doing direct sales because we are still learning from architects how they're using this technology and how they want to use it, how they want to present it. You know? So direct sales for at least this first 150 clients, and then we want to scale into markets like Turkey, Dubai, and things like that, because we feel that those markets really, they are just thirsty for innovation, technology, and things like that. They have money, and we don't want to crowd ourselves into some markets that are not so attractive.
Any more questions?
We are preparing a virtual reality program in near future. And I think this would be a perfect product for the Chinese market. Yeah, let's see. I just like it. I wanted to say that.
So we must talk after.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for VR. So our fourth pitch has now completed his pitch. Right, okay, once again, if you thought about it, you know what you're going to do. You're shaking. 3, 2, 1. Show us what you think. Wonderful. If you can just turn. Okay, we are now on to the last and final pitch of the Podim Challenge 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the one, the only, Windria.
Good afternoon. Let's begin with a quick show of hand. Who of you here has been on or navigated a sailboat? Okay. So for those of you who have not, let me tell you, The navigator of a sailboat is not only in charge of the boat, but he's also responsible for the safety of the passengers on board. And by far the biggest challenge here is the unpredictability of the weather. A friend of ours, Matjaž, had to experience that firsthand last year when he was sailing around Kornati in Croatia and almost lost his boat in a storm. When he was planning this cruise, he was using, like most sailors, a traditional weather chart like the one here on the left. So as you can see, it covers a large area but gives very little detail on a local scale. And in order to plan the cruise, you often have to study lots of these maps next to each other. So we were thinking to ourselves, why should Matjaž still have to use weather charts like sailors did 30 years ago, when the rest of the world has in fact moved on to using advanced tools like Google Maps? So then we went and interviewed some 30 sailors. We learned a whole lot about sailing, and we ended up building a solution called Windria. The biggest concern that sailors have is whether or not they can trust the forecast. To solve this, we went and did something no one had done before. We are gathering the best available forecasts on a local level and calculating a statistical confidence level between these forecasts for each point on the map. This way we're able to produce a forecast which accounts for local phenomena, but also tells you how accurate it is at any given moment or location. Our second big innovation is this interactive map that you're seeing here. So let me show you how it works a bit. Similar to a Google Maps, you can zoom in seamlessly down to a kilometer level. You can pan and move around the map, of course, and then you have this slider down there where you can play or slide through the forecast. As mentioned, another problem that sailors face is planning a route. It often involves a lot of manual labor still. So let me show you how it's done on Windria. Simply search for your starting location, for example, Koper in Slovenia, and then you can just draw your route point to point like this. And Windria will send you any alerts about rough weather conditions coming up during your trip. Similarly, if you're looking for a safe anchoring spot to spend the night, that's another thing sailors have to worry about, Windria can help you there as well. And of course, it works beautifully on all devices. There's around 150 million recreational boaters in the world each year. We are focusing on just 5 million people. Those are skippers who regularly use mobile apps, who cruise several times per year, and who spend more than $1,000 on sailing every year. Our vision or our ambition is to become the leading marine weather provider within the next 2 to 3 years. So what have we done to validate our business idea? As mentioned, we've spoken to those 30 sailors and we've gotten pretty much the same answers over and over again. We've also run a series of landing page experiments featuring different prices for our service, and we have in fact confirmed that people are willing to pay for our service. Last year we got picked up by a popular sailing blog in Europe. They featured us in front of 100,000 Facebook likes. And we also have 100 active beta testers who, some of them have sent us written feedbacks, and they were positive throughout the board. We will sell Windria as a subscription with a yearly or a monthly option, and there will also be a free plan which only features this interactive map you've seen and detailed forecasts for a day. This we do in order to lure in new users. So how will you acquire customers? Through partnerships with charters and marinas. We are talking with a big player in the charter game. Referrals, we have our first evangelist, the professional ocean racers, and as we've seen, the press is hungry for stories like ours. There's of course other players in this game, but there's in fact no one able to offer this level of accuracy that we have, and there's no one able to offer the interactive map that we have, because it's not exactly easy to do, technically speaking. So who are these guys? On the right you have my co-founder Matjaž. He knows how to build great products, has done so on many occasions, including a profitable weather website in Slovenia called največja. Maybe some of you have used it. Myself, I'm from Switzerland. I know a thing or two about acquiring users, have worked at Google, and have acquired 1 million+ users for the world's largest parking information provider. We're both engineers by background, been working together for 1.5 years at another successful startup called Codable. And one more thing we have in common, we both have a pretty Slovenian girlfriend. So now I'll be happy to take your questions.
A quick question. Where do you get the raw data for this? See, the current data of the currents, for example, of the weather, obviously other things.
Yes, some of the data is publicly available, for example, from NOAA or also from the European Weather Agency. Some of the data we used to purchase, but that's not really, I mean, that's quite expensive in licensing fees. So now Matthias here, our CTO, has actually, he's renting a supercomputer with 32 cores, and he's calculating those European models himself. The WRF model, this has the added benefit that we can input terrain features on a resolution of 2 × 2 kilometer, which is much better what you can get anywhere for a reasonable price. So we have tested this data in the Adriatic region, and all the sailors who have used it have told us that it does in fact account for those local phenomena that other forecasts do not account for.
Okay, my advice would be to check the competition because there are more companies like that, not just these 3. I'm using at least 4 different apps to check this data that you are putting in one app, which is a very good thing actually. So I like it, but I would really think about changing the business model because you're just selling the app, and there are plenty of other opportunities to how to make money with an app like this. For example, you can put the advertising for the local businesses, local restaurants to be featured on the maps. You can promote different businesses like gas stations or repair services. Like usually when you go on a boat, you break something, so you have to repair it. You have to find somebody to help you, and if you have something in your app, it's very helpful. So I would focus more on that part than just selling the app.
Yes, we have considered that as a possible path as well, making it free from the beginning, and then in a later stage becoming sort of the trip advisor of marine activities. So that would require a large number of users. So
I think that the business model is a very important thing here. Do you know the apps in the aviation area? Because there are many solutions for weather and route planning and so on. And for example, the aviation weather app is for €1.90 or something like that, and you have all the weather information in it, real time. So the business model, I guess, is the most important thing here.
Okay, we will look into that.
Yeah, following on from that, I would tend to agree. Have you thought about other markets like windsurfers and kite surfers? Because I'm a kite surfer myself, and I've used WindGuru, and your app looks really interesting, but I think €120 a year for just for that would be quite a lot. So I mean, have you thought about that?
Yes, so we have somewhat solved this problem of having this great data, and of course we've considered the other focus areas as well, but we have to start somewhere, and based on the evaluation we've done, we've determined that to be the sailors for the next 2 to 3 years. However, I mean, it would be awesome if you live in Hawaii and you get a daily alert on your phone that says, hey, tonight the surf is up on this beach, surf's up alert. And this can be free just to drive users into our service and make it more popular. It doesn't take us a lot of work to develop something like that on top of what we have.
Just to check if I understood, the quality of forecast of WindGuru and yours is the same?
Of WindGuru and ours?
Yeah, I use WindGuru.
No, it's absolutely not the same. WindGuru, I don't know for Europe, but they give you 3 hourly time steps WRF model with, I think, a 10-kilometer resolution, which means if you have a small island, 5 kilometers in diameter, that stops the wind blowing, the bourje blowing towards the land. It doesn't even account for that, for example.
So your value added is a route, not the forecast.
The prerequisite to winning the trust in this business, from what we've learned in the interviews, is having the best data, but what we actually are going to sell to the sailors is the route planning. Yes.
Are you raising money at the moment? And if so, what are your next steps and what do you need to spend money on?
So there's just the 2 of us right now. We have been using some contractors, but we really know how to get stuff done, also because we're both from an engineering background, and we've just done it the last 2 years at Codable. we've seen 6x growth there, and partly also cost that growth. So, of course, in the interest of our own equity, we're trying to keep the investment low, but we are looking to raise a round in order to extend our runway, because we also have seasonality to account for example. I mean, there is markets in the southern hemisphere we could target, but we don't know the impact of that seasonality.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Windra. Put your hands together for Windra. Okay, so for the very last time, 3, 2, 1, show us what you thought of Windra. You can just twist them round slightly. Thank you. Okay, so there we have it. So 5 different pitches, 5 different startups with 5 different big ideas, or they feel at least they have the next big idea. Once again, BG, Boatguard, Oculus Diagnostics, The Social Bet, Vyar, and Windria. But which one of those is actually going to take away the title of the Podim Challenge 2015? Right. So, first of all, the other prizes that are up for grabs during this Podim Challenge 2015 from Design Accelerator. They have chosen one particular startup that runs away with 5,000 euro voucher worth of design services, and that startup is Oculus Diagnostics. Put your hands together for Oculus Diagnostics. Wonderful, you've just won yourself a 5,000 euro voucher. And for the next prize, 3,000 euro voucher from Deloitte Slovenia, I would like Martin to come up to the stage, and he will come up to the stage and tell us exactly who feels, or Deloitte Slovenia feels, should win that voucher.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd just like to emphasize that the voting didn't have any impact on our decision. We kind of decided before, however, these pitches helped us, and our prize goes to VR.
There we are, photo call. Very proud. You're all in that photograph as well, I believe. Okay, so we move on now to the winner, the overall moral winner of the Podim Challenge 2015. The idea that actually got the most green cards from the jury here on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winner, which I will not tell you because Istok Renča from Sales and Development of IT Services at Pošta Slovenia will come on stage and tell you exactly who the winner is.
Yes, and the winner is VR.
So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end. That wraps up the Podim Challenge 2015. Again, I'm sure, hopefully, when you leave this room in a few moments' time, you'll have something to take away with you, whether it be some insights, some advice, something you heard here on stage, something you saw perhaps within the pitches or the startups here during the challenge. Again, put your hands together for all our investors, VCs, entrepreneurs, everybody here on stage. We shall now have a break, a coffee break for 1 hour until 6 o'clock, and we'll be all back here in this room in 1 hour's time. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of Podim 2015.
Congratulations. Hey guys, thank you. On Saturday and Sunday I will be sailing exactly there. Do you know Isola? Here is Maribor. Do you know where is Isola? There is Giuliano, Isola, and